Today we're reading Little Letters and Limericks, the newest book by the Woodland Elves, written by Shary Williamson, illustrated by Johnston. On each page, you'll notice a barcode. Scan it, and you can have the author reading it to you. So see the barcode? And here's the picture. You look at the picture and I'll read. Dear Habiba, I saw you having fun while you were out camping. Loud honking outside your tent woke you up, but it wasn't cars. It was geese. They're social birds. They like to have lots of their goose friends around them. They're so beautiful and look so peaceful. But here's my advice to you. Don't follow them too closely. Here's a little poem I made up for you. I must share with you some sad news. Geese can leave behind little clues, that though they are pretty, it's still such a pity. You'll probably get poop on your shoes. Love you. Every little boy will love that one. Here is the barcode, QR code you can scan to have Shary read to you this page. Dear Ali, I have watched you and your friend play marbles together many times. You always laugh and have so much fun. You take turns. Sometimes you talk. Sometimes you listen. Sometimes you trade your favorite marbles. You're always so kind to each other. I like that. Being kind is so important. Here's a little poem I made up for you. I love that it's just you and me. I think that's the way it should be. There's no need to pretend, 'cause you'll be my best friend until we're 103. Next QR code. Here's the picture. Dear Tiba, I heard you talking to yourself the other day. You were not happy with the way that you looked. We all feel that way from time to time. Elves wish we could be taller. We wish our ears could be smaller. Ears taller? But that's what a silly way to think, because I'm perfect just the way I am, and so are you. Here's a little poem I made up for you. I'd pay somebody $1 if they could make my ears smaller. Then it comes to my mind, I surely would find that I still wouldn't be any taller. Love you. Next QR code. Ooh, this is a great picture. Dear Tommy, I loved watching you roast marshmallows over the fire, even though we love to nibble on them. To us, marshmallows are very big. They look like they would be fun for us to use as trampolines. But if we jump too high or hard, you'd never see us again, because we would disappear in the sweet, gooey middle. Here's a poem I made up for you. A marshmallow on a long stick puffs up and gets black really quick. The flames from the fire grow higher and higher. If I ate too much, I'd get sick. Love you. QR code for the next page. Here's the picture. Aha, what a great picture. Dear Sydney, I watched you spitting watermelon seeds today. I buried my head in a leaf so you wouldn't hear me laughing. You took a deep breath and then blew as hard as you could. The seed flew off of the tip of your tongue. I laughed until one of your seeds bounced off my head. You better work on your aim. Ha ha. Here's a little poem I made up for you. Spitting seeds is really such fun. It makes all the other kids run. If it lands on a head, you have something to dread. And in that case, you're probably done. Love you. Next page QR code. Here's the amazing picture. What's he doing? Let's find out. Dear William, I loved seeing you play in the dirt today. I couldn't tell exactly what you were creating, but you were having fun whipping up mud in your pail. You were stirring and mixing with a big stick that looked like a magic wand. I thought maybe you were creating a secret sauce. I won't share your secret, I promise. Here's a poem, a little poem I made up for you. Your pail of mud looked so yummy, and I know you are no dummy. As you stirred and you mixed with your magical sticks, that stew was not meant for your tummy. Love you. QR code for the next page. J. Johnston's next pick. Here we go. Dear Colin, how wonderful that you found a 4-leaf clover. They say that a 4-leaf clover brings us luck. Who knows if that's true or not? One way or another, they're fun to find because they just might bring us some good luck. Elves and fairies love to hide in 4-leaf clovers. The 4 leaves stand for faith, love, hope, and luck. Here's a little poem I made for you. I'm needing some good luck today, 'cause things aren't going my way. But I'll see some changes if my luck rearranges. Or at least, that's what people say. I love you. Next QR code. Next amazing picture. The beach. Dear Beckett, I am so glad you are discovering that there are so many hidden treasures to be found on a sandy beach. I saw you put some of them in your pocket and leave some behind for other discoverers to find. That's very thoughtful of you. I see why the shell that you are holding is called a cat's paw. Do you? Here's a little poem I made up for you. A cat's paw washed up on the shore, much better than the one from the store. Though I'm not sure quite how that shell tried to meow. I hope you'll keep looking for more. I love you. Next QR code. Scan it. See what happens. Next picture. An elf is trying to get in her basket. I wonder what that's about. Dear Aubrey, I watched you pack a picnic lunch, gummy bears and lollipops, marshmallows and candy bars, chips, cookies, but then I saw your face. When you opened your lunch, you saw a basket full of fruits and vegetables, beets, Brussels sprouts, and avocado slices. Who packs Brussels sprouts for a picnic? I don't think it was you. Here's a little poem I made up for you. It's always so fun, such fun to pack lunch, to sit with a friend and to munch. When you looked at your snack, it was not what you packed. Who switched it? Do you have a hunch? I love you. Next QR code. Scan it. See what happens. Next picture. There's the elf. Dear Keegan, I saw you investigating a spider web today. Did you know that its silk is some of the strongest material in the entire world? You were looking closely to see if the design that the spider had created. Their webs are incredible works of art, aren't they? But you don't need to be afraid. Spiders can be our friends. Do you see the spider web and the spider? Here's a little poem I made up for you. Spinning webs is truly an art. Shows spiders are really quite smart. They catch bugs for dinner, so they are the winner. But did you know spiders can fart? You might want to Google this little known fact. It's true. I love you. Next QR code. Scan it and see what happens. Next amazing picture by Johnston. There's a little elf by the tree. Dear Sajad, I saw you pick up a fluffy dandelion today. Is it true that if you blow off every last piece of fuzz and make a wish, then your wish might come true? You took a deep breath and started to blow as hard as you could. But a ferocious gust of wind came out of nowhere and blew all of the fluff in your face. It was funny. Here's a little poem I made up for you. A weed or a flower, I don't know, but these dandies quickly can grow. You'll have fuzz up your nose and all over your clothes if the wind decides it should blow. I love you. Next QR code. Scan it. See what happens. Here's the next amazing picture. And there's the little elf in a yellow cap back there. I see a worm. Fun stuff. Dear Baxter, right after a beautiful spring rain, I was watching you and your friend shovel dirt, trying to find enough worms to fish all day long. You knew that fish would love those worms, didn't you? But those worms were slippery and squirmy, and they kept trying to get away from you. You didn't let them get away. Good job. Here's a little poem I made up for you. I really did not mean to snoop when you let out a very loud whoop, but I saw that big worm beginning to squirm. Please don't put that worm in your soup. I love you. Next page. Scan the QR code and see what happens. Here's the next picture. Oh, a family of ants. And somebody's eating a cookie. And there's the elf in red. Dear Rima, I saw a parade of ants walking in such a straight line, following the scent of a cookie crumb that you dropped. They nibbled away at it until every bite was gone. Then they turned around and headed to follow a new scent. Ants don't have ears, but they do have 2 stomachs. Maybe that's why they like to eat a lot. Here's a little poem I made up for you. Though we're slightly bigger than ants and can hide with them in the plants, we will not make you itch, and we won't make you twitch. We're better than ants in your pants. I love you. Next QR code. Next amazing picture. I think she's blowing bubbles. There's the elf. Dear Adrian, I loved watching you create a special bubble solution. Playing with giant bubbles always seems like so much fun for you. We are so small that we have been known to float in the sky inside of a bubble. But you can't do that. I was trying not to laugh when a huge bubble popped on your head. But I laughed anyhow. Here's a little poem I wrote for you. Blowing bubbles is always fun, especially when you can run. When one popped on your head, your face got bright red. Good thing it was only just one. I love you. Next QR code, scan it and see what happens. What a great picture we have here. 2021, he's holding a picture, and the elf is in the back there. Dear Francesca, how creative of you to collect so many meaningful items to put in a time capsule. You searched high and low to find just the right treasures to place in the jar so carefully. Isn't it exciting to think that it might be found by someone in the future? It was nice that you put your name and the year in the jar. Here's a little poem I made up for you. That time capsule you made to hide, I peeked to see what was inside. If an elf had been there, I'd be saying a prayer, and then I'd have sat down and cried. I love you. Next QR code. Scan it and see what happens. Well, we have an elf on a high branch looking down at a boy with his shadow. Dear Gaetano, it was such a bright sunny day yesterday. I enjoyed watching you and your shadow walking down the street together. Sometimes it looked like you were happy with him, and at other times I could tell you were not. I saw you even try to kick him away from you, but that's impossible to do, isn't it? Here's a little poem I made up for you. My shadow's tall, then quite tiny. Sometimes he's happy, then whiny. He thinks he's my double, then gets me in trouble. He's really a pain in my hiney. I love you. Next QR code. Oh, she's relaxing. So is the elf. Dear Lynn, I saw you enjoying a relaxing moment, slowly swinging back and forth on a hammock the other day. The swaying motion put a smile on your face. Did you know that you fell asleep in the hammock? I noticed that your eyes were shut, but fortunately, I did not hear you snoring like some older people in hammocks. Here's a little poem I made up for you. A hammock's a great place to rest, especially if you're stressed. With your calm, peaceful smile, I knew all the while that for friends, you are the best. I love you. Next QR code. The elf is peeking and it looks like she's tumbling. Dear Eggy, I saw you rolling down a big grassy hill today. You could not stop laughing as you went flying down that hill. I saw other children join you in the fun. I even saw some four-legged friends chasing you down the hill as well. The frog couldn't keep up with you, but the dog was trying hard to beat you. Who won? Here's a little poem I made up for you. A roll down the hill any place can become a challenging race. As you're passing a frog, or perhaps a small dog, be sure not to land on your face. I love you. Next QR code. Next picture. Sandals, and the elf is hiding behind a rock. Dear Moogie, I don't often get to see you so calm because you are usually on the move. It was delightful to see you just relax for a while and enjoy looking up at the clouds. Though I didn't know exactly what the clouds reminded you of, I knew they made you happy. It made me want to go lie down and look up at the sky too. Here's a little poem I made up for you. I saw you watching the sky and smile as the clouds drifted by. One cloud looked like a cat who was chasing a rat. He stopped, looked at you, winked his eye. I love you. Next QR code. We've got elves, and it looks like they're reading books, and they're in the grass with some logs. Dear Choo Choo, I hope you're enjoying my little letters that I leave for you. It is fun finding secret places to hide your tiny letters. You seem to always find them. The letters are my way of letting you know that I am your friend. I care about you. You can always talk to me. But most importantly, I want you to know that I love you. You can always talk to me. Here's a little poem I made up for you. It's important that I let you know I'm with you wherever you go. It's just my way to say that I love you each day. In the sun, in the rain, in the snow. I love you. And Shary Williamson, forgive me if I made a mistake there. Here's the next QR code and the next picture with the elf. This is for Aunt Sue. Dear Sue, you were on a mission today to find the perfect small stone for your rock collection, and you found it sparkling like gold right under your nose. Were you thinking it might hold some magic power? Or that it might be gold? Who knows? Perhaps so. We only collect pebbles because our hands are so small. Here's a little poem I made up for you. A magical stone you have found. It sparkles like gold on the ground. You'll be rich as a queen before you're a teen. You'd better keep looking around. I love you. Last QR code. And here's the picture. Dear Fatima, that was so kind of you to leave me a beautiful picture that you had drawn of yourself so that I wouldn't forget you. How could I possibly ever forget you? You are one of a kind. No one anywhere in the world is just like you. I will hang your picture on the wall of my home. However, there's one small problem. Here's a little poem I made up for you. The picture I love that you drew shows your head all the way to your shoe. But my home is so small, it takes up the whole wall. I truly don't know what to do. I love you. That's it for today. Thank you to Shary Williamson and Johnston. If you're looking for laughter, love, and literature, connections and communication, friendship and fun, look no further and pass it on.